It always bothers me when people talk about Black Lives Matter and fixing the problems of the black community. But what about fixing the problems of the lower income community that all these problems still live in today? I mean, it's cool to worry about the problems on the mainstream and the political front, but a lot of these issues are stemming from the lower income communities, the poverty stricken communities, or what the media calls it, the hoods. For me, I ain't never forget. And I tend to fix that.
So when I lived in the hood, this is like where I grew up at. It used to be like a house right here. It used to be like two houses right here. And like one of my homegirls like stayed right across the street. So I stayed like, that's my old crib, right, used to be at. And I used to come right across the street all the time. And then a little further ways over that bridge right there, my grandma stayed over there. So yeah, man, like when I was coming up, around like the early 90s or whatever, it really was like a community. It was like it really was a village where I grew up in. I had a homeboy that stayed right there. His pops, his granddad, him stayed right there. He had a basketball goal. I would go over there all the time, shoot hoops with him and shit. I think the same people still live there too. And they looked out them like it was like a family. It was like a family out here. And so when I think about the hoods and think about, you know, where I was brought up, where I came up, yeah, we had some struggles and hard times, but you know, within the little community that I was in, we really pulled together. You know what I'm saying? We really looked out for each other. We really loved each other because we understood we were all in the struggle together. So why take time to, you know, be at odds with one another when we can look out for each other? So yeah. What is your definition of the hood / lower income communities?
My definition of the hood is basically a area where people are basically joined together because of certain circumstances that, you know, maybe it might be financial circumstances, emotional circumstances, just not being able to provide for themselves fully. But when I go into the hood, you find these people who are genuine good people. You have your lawyers, your doctors, your candy lady, hairstylist. There's all different types of people. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would say the hood is.
Gotcha. What are some of your experiences, or if you have any, from the hood?
I really don't have any personal experiences like living in the hood. I've always lived in a community that was surrounded by the hood. So mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically my experience with the hood would be, like I stated, you mm-hmm. have your hairstylist, genuine people, real people, like people that you can go to for anything, and it's really good people. You know, CNN always portrays certain communities or areas as like bad, and they associate the hood with bad, and it's not necessarily bad. Mm-hmm. So,
got you. What are some of the problems that affect Black peoples that are within these hoods or lower income communities that you see or that you have heard about?
Social learning theory. Mm-hmm. This is what my mother has went through. This is what my father has went through, and it's a continuing cycle. This is all they know, and a lot of times people associate those people with being ignorant or they don't know any better. So what I see from people being in the hood or whatever, this is all that they know. this is all that they're used to. And honestly, they're not harming anyone. They just don't know any better, or they just don't know anything else outside of that.
Continuing coverage of the game of tug of war at Newport News apartment complex. All week long, we've been telling you about residents not having air conditioning at the Aqua Vista apartments. In our latest report, we told you people were staying at hotels while crews worked to fix the AC. Well, today, the company said everything is good to go. Well, residents tell me that's not exactly true.
I am stressed out.
She's a mother of 4, twins on the way, but her energy is spent on trying to make sure her home is safe for her kids. On Tuesday, codes and compliance officials from the city of Newport News issued 27 citations for each unit in need of repairs after the air conditioning units stopped working at the Aqua Vista apartments. The company put this family and others up at a hotel, but today, Newport News fire vans are here to bring them back.
They need to extend until we get it right.
Residents say the repairs aren't adequate, telling us they stopped by the apartments yesterday and it's not cool enough for their children. We tried again to speak with an employee from the complex. Them saying it's premature, they're not ready to go back?
Can't answer any questions.
She walked away just after that.
It's not new units, it's the portable units.
And according to a spokeswoman with the city of Newport News, all units have working portable AC units. There were originally circuit issues, but we're told everything is up to code. So we followed the van to the apartments, residents returning home to see if their homes are in fact cooler. Here are some reactions.
It's hot in there. Like in all rooms, that portable is not kicking out nothing. Nothing at all, and it's still 80 degrees in there.
I don't know what we're gonna do.
We also spoke to a resident who said her room was at 70 degrees, but the room of her son, who has asthma, had no unit at all. We reached out to the parent company of Aqua Vista Apartments. The executive vice president tells me every unit is up to code, all of them 74 degrees or cooler, and some units will get a more permanent solution next week. Today, State Delegate Marcia Price paid a visit.
I was under the impression that the law was that the rooms had to be cooled to 80 degrees. And I can say with 100% certainty that I have seen rooms that are not being cooled to 80 degrees.
And as you can see, this story is far from over, and we will continue to update you on what's going on at those apartments. In the meantime, residents tell me they can't sleep there tonight, and they aren't exactly sure what's next.
I believe like a low-income community has working families who earn less than twice the federal poverty line. And I feel like the hood just means an area where a certain group of people who share a culture live. It's almost kind of funny when I ride through the hood, you always see and find certain things. Fried chicken spot, a laundromat, mad corner stores, random grocery stores that have limited produce and healthy foods. And you always find a pharmacy. Some people might not think much of it, but to me, it blatantly says that they don't want the people from that community to have a reason to leave that community. They want to literally keep them there, and eventually they'll kill each other off. Sounds crazy, right? But that's literally what happens in the hood. And we say rest in peace and keep it moving. They literally want people to get comfortable eating that unhealthy food so they can send them right across the street to the pharmacy for medicine that's going to keep them sick and eventually kill them. It's all very much intentional. I feel like a big problem that stems from the hood that affects Black people is that all Black people are negatively stereotyped from the beginning until proven to be otherwise. It's almost like they don't believe that you have accomplished certain things or have acquired the accolades that you have, and that we have to first prove ourselves to be worthy to even be considered. But we can't even do that most of the time because we aren't even given a fair shot to begin with. So with that said, those that come from the hood have to damn near put their lives on the line to to get ahead if they've ever made a mistake in life. The system is literally created to keep us out of society if we've ever messed up, when in fact they should be rehabilitating us to welcome us back to contribute to society. So the rejection from their own community weighs heavily on the mentality, and sometimes it even causes people to self-destruct when they should be propelled forward. I mean, when you think about it, what else can they do? These people have lives, families, and children. It becomes an every man for himself type of situation. And people literally do what they have to do to survive, regardless of the law. Because in their minds, the law didn't protect them and help them to be better citizens. So why should they consider the law when they're trying to feed their families and survive?
Can you describe some of your experiences living here, some of the good times and some of the bad times?
Yeah, like shootings every night. Not too many good times.
Yeah. Is it still going on today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost every night.
Right. And so, if you were, talking to someone that was trying to better this community or better the areas around here, what would you say like be some key solutions that could improve this area around here?
Let's see. More police officers around.
You said no or lower?
More.
Okay. So as far as police officers, you don't think that police brutality is necessarily a thing around here, or maybe it's a bad description?
Well, not necessarily police brutality, just the lack of not being in the neighborhood.
Okay, and so they don't really, they're not here, and so with crime going around, it isn't no kind of police brutality or police action because there's no cops around.
Exactly.
Okay, got you. Anything else?
That'd be about it.
All right, man, I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. So what is your definition of the hood?
When I think about the hood, or what people classify as the hood, I think about basically lower income communities that a certain group of people are currently going through situations where it be financial, life situation. Most times it's people of color. That's what I think of when I think of the hood and lower income communities. Unfortunately, when you think about it, it has a certain negative stigma to it as far as crime and things of that nature. And yes, unfortunately, it does happen too often or not in the hood, but that's just because of the situation people are in. When people talk about black on black crime, it's kind of like a made up myth, because the only reason black on black crime happens is because they're in the vicinity of one another. It'd be the same if it was white on white crime. It just so happens that when you think about the hood and when the media portrays about lower income communities, that's the first thing they put on the TV screen, because that's what they want you to see. And so when I think about the hood, I think about, although it is a select group of people that are going through something right now, there is a lot of hope and a lot of positivity and a lot of community within the hood, especially a lot of black magic and black pride, because they realize they're in a situation where it's just them. They've been stigmatized and they've been labeled as criminals and people that maybe not have the highest intelligence, things of that nature, and they realize that we're all we got. And instead of trying to get people to give us money or get help from other outside sources, this is the situation that we're in, and so let's make the best of it. So even though there is a lot of negativity and problems that happen within the lower income communities, there's a lot of positive and a lot of good that happens here.
What are some of the issues that plague the hood?
Lack of jobs, lack of decent jobs, lack of community programs, lack of after-school programs,
I want to talk about, police involvement or police brutality. It's like a double-edged sword with that, because the police are supposed to protect and serve, and the whole thing about us as people is that we don't want to believe that cops are out to maliciously hurt us. It's just that given our history, given what we've been through, given the statistics, we don't have a lot to go on. We understand they're here to protect and serve, and a lot of times we would like them to be in lower income communities, stopping crime and fixing the crimes, but it's like something happens. The relationship is broken because what they say they do and what they actually do, it doesn't add up. And so for me, police involvement, police brutality, I think it stems from just a lack of understanding on both sides, more so them to us, because it's like all you're doing is labeling us, and all you're doing is thinking that we're just one way, and basically it comes out of fear, and it comes out of hatred, it comes out of racism. And so when you talk about protect and serve, when we talk about Black Lives Matter, we talk about police brutality, we're not just saying it just to say it. This shit happens on a regular basis, and although we would like help from the law, we get the opposite most times. So that's an issue. Community building, unity. Like I said before, there is a lot of love and unity within these lower income community hoods, but sometimes when you're in a situation where it's survival of the fittest, a lot of that shit goes out the window. And it's unfortunate because it's like we have more power within our own selves coming together and sticking together versus being divided. And once we realize that all of us are in this situation where we don't have a lot of options but us, that's where the real change comes from. Too often, too many times, people in lower income communities are always looking out for a handout, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. It's just that that's how it's been force-fed to us. And so with that being said, we always seem like the power's in the government help. We always seem like the power's in welfare. We always seem like the power's in receiving outsources of help. But my homegirl, we got more power than our fingertips, and we just realized that we in this shit together. Let's figure this shit out. We can better our own community. We can literally if we have problems that need funding, we can literally fund our own problems and fix that. There was a source, a source, I don't know, it was a page or wherever I got this from, where it basically was like, the way Black economics works is, if you got a neighborhood that's a couple blocks down that's well funded, that has money flowing in the community, you could essentially take that money from what they're making, put it back into the hood. So now the hood is not looking towards the government to give them money. You're already getting from your own people. And now what happens? Now that money trickulates, and now that money is being populated towards the people. And it's the thing, not just give them money, give them education. That's another problem too. Lack of education, especially when it comes to finance, especially when it comes to finance. Especially when it comes to gentrification. You look at gentrification, basically you take a rundown building that may be worth to them not as much as they think. Then what happens is you bring these government contractors in, they fix it up, then they charge more than what the shit was actually worth. And it could have been worth that shit the whole time, but they didn't know because they didn't have the financial education. Meanwhile, you gave them $50,000 to go make it somewhere. But why would you give a person $50,000 that doesn't have the financial tools to use that to better themselves? So now they're they're back in the same situation again with no money because they didn't have they didn't have the mental, or they didn't have the knowledge to flip that money to make more money. So gentrification is a huge thing. So that's just a couple things that are happening, continuously happen within the hood.
Solutions that can help out our sisters and brothers, I would say. Remember Dr. Claude Anderson, I watched a lecture from him before, and he said Black people don't need motivation, we need empowerment. An example he used, the analogy was pretty much like, we can say, you gotta get out the hood, and people go, okay, I gotta get out the hood, but his analogy used was, that's like me saying, okay, you gotta take a trip here, you gotta take a trip there, you gotta travel. People say, I need to travel, but where are they gonna get the money to to get on a boat, the ship to go somewhere? Where they get the money for a plane ticket, for lodging? And that's where the empowerment comes in. And the more fortunate blacks, we have to, give back, give back, give to the community to help those people out, And I guess that's why, Chaz, you're doing this, because even just think about it, it's like, man, we kind of left our people, but there are definitely solutions as far as, trades, learning that they can still be something without college education. I think that's a big point. People think that without college education, they'll never be anything, but college is not for everybody, man. It's not. But just because you can't go to college doesn't mean that you can't be successful in life, especially in this day and age, And so I think there needs to be people to give them lectures and, to be able to help out to them, to not just motivate, but to empower, to educate, teach them how to get jobs, teach the boys how to be men, these young girls how to, become women and things like that.
Inspiring message of hope, man. Just never give up. Don't look back. Move forward. Keep looking forward. I know times may be hard and feel like you are hopeless, but there's wills away. Ask for help. Move out the hood. Try to get away from it. Try to be somewhere that's more responsive. That people do care. People do move with a purpose. Somewhere that people don't frown upon you. It's always good to go back to where you're from and to give back. So if you ever do make it out the hood, give back to those who are unfortunate, who less fortunate than you are right now.
We can go back into these communities and rebuild them instead of helping people would just get out the hood. Why not rehabilitate the hood and bring it back so that it can really be ours? Everybody with a voice and that has influence should be using their platforms to uplift our people instead of tearing them down. We can create nonprofit organizations that benefit our youth's education and extracurricular activities. We can mentor them. We can facilitate parenting classes for our families. We can create single mother and single father support groups, amongst other things. But in order to acquire this level of change, we all must want better for our people. It's a group effort.
Still smoke the Mary Jane. I'm so crazy I have babies. Don't let me see my babies. But one day, I'ma drive the world crazy. Mark Big turned his back on me, so I turned on his mom. I got songs as a song that I'm straight fucking his mom. Even Oogie Vic is my god brother. I don't mention his name. I'm still stuck in the game, niggas still whipping that cane. I can sprinkle 22 niggas to a 62. I can make the who a nigga call a hula hoo. Nigga, I take care of fams. Play, I take care of mans. I'm so smooth on whatever dudes, nigga. I take care of nines. So many days, nigga. I pray to my Lord. And I'm down on my knees and I'm still praying to my Lord. I wonder why God don't listen to me. I pray so many days that God don't listen to me. But still, day after day, I'm still going to church. I'm still praying to the man high above because of going to church. I even told my pops and my preacher, my God, my Don, I'm half a mama Don and I'm a son. I call my Jesus Elohim or Yuhim. Are you sure what you mean? So many days, I'm wondering what was a dream. I still keep a double drop in